And welcome back to the Financially Simple Experience. I'm Justin. So over the last 10 episodes or so, we have pulled the curtain back and let you look behind the scenes of my three companies. In particular, we looked at indicators. And you've heard from several of the key team members that I work with on a day-to-day basis. And I got to tell you, I'm humbled to have the opportunity to work with these amazing rock stars, as I call them, within our team. The idea being that we're all improving together. We're on a journey. All of us are. Some of us are a little bit ahead of others. And those are the individuals that we want to look at and learn from. Now, in our particular businesses, I have the opportunity to speak with hundreds of business owners every year, along with their consultants and advisors. So I have a little bit of a warp speed in our race that we work with. So I'm able to learn things. And as I learn things, I want to share them with you. Now, as you've heard, we believe there are several indicators that we should track as business owners. And we spent time looking at the 8 key areas. And if you remember, planning, leadership, sales, marketing, people operations, finance, and legal are the 8 key areas. And I've introduced you to some of the team members that I have the honor and privilege to work with. And we looked at the indicators that we are tracking. Not all of them, because we managed to track about 100 indicators, just over 100 indicators in our company. And you're like, man, Justin, that's a lot. Does it really help? Well, before I tell you if it helps, we have companies that we work with, that we consult with, and business owners that we're working to try to help them double their net worth every 3 to 5 years. Now, again, that's not always possible, but it's something we can all strive for. And these companies are tracking over 300 indicators at any given time. So yeah, you say, yeah, man, Justin, you're tracking 100 indicators. That's crazy. Some of our clients are tracking far more than what we are at this point. And if you remember, things don't happen overnight. Anything we want to improve, we must measure. I'm reminded that what gets measured gets improved. And that's Peter Drucker, the famous business consultant. I think it's interesting that we all have these aspirations. We have these plans. We have these things that we want to accomplish in our life, yet we don't really devise a plan. Watts Humphrey said, unplanned process improvement is wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. And candidly, if we're honest, that's what we business owners do on a regular basis. We are thinking wishfully. Henry Ford is credited with saying, if you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. I love that plain talk. And yet we business owners, we know we need to improve. We know that if we measure things, we can get better. I mean, we look all around us, and that is the case. So I'm left with this question. After now 8 episodes of talking through the indicators that we track and kind of helping you devise thoughts that can help you in your business, how do we identify and implement performance indicators in our business? How do we identify them and implement them? My family and I have been recently playing this crazy game called 20 Questions. My daughter introduced us to this. Every time we're around the kitchen table, 5, 6, 7 times a week, depending on the week, as we're having dinner, we start asking questions, and we're trying to figure out who can answer the question. So it works something like this. My son may say, I'm thinking of a movie. All right, so now here we go. Well, is it animated or not? Well, it's animated. Okay. Is it an animal in the movie, or is it a person? That's the main character. It's an animal. Okay, and so we're trying to eliminate all the what ifs so we can guess the name of the movie. It wasn't too long ago that I won 20 questions. I almost won it twice. I had this really cool one with Mary Poppins. That was the movie I was thinking about. I wrote down the card, and my daughter, I threw her for a loop when she said, Daddy, is it animated or not? And I said, both. As you may remember, Mary Poppins has this little scene where there's animation in it, but most of the time it's not animated. So that threw her for a loop. But I won the game with this movie called Alice in Wonderland. I'm sure you've seen this. It's an older movie. It's cartoon based. The original one was. And there are several things throughout this movie that I think are directly impact our conversation today. You're like, Justin, seriously? Yes, seriously. Here we go. So how are we going to identify and implement performance indicators. The first one is we automatically are thinking differently. We're thinking differently. Alice said, I can't go back to yesterday because I was a different person then. Friends, now that you understand how indicators work and how we actually do it within our company, you can't go back. You are a different person now that you understand, and now you're looking at this thing saying, man, indicators lead business owners to being able to double their net worth every 3 to 5 years. You're a different person today. So now it's time for us to think differently. It's time for us to think differently. Again, what Henry Ford said, if we always do what we always did, then we'll always get what we always got. Yeah. And anything that is without a plan is wishful thinking. So we don't want to do that. So how do we now, if we're thinking differently, we know we need to implement this, how? You have to have a clear destination on where you want your business to be. Where do you see your business in 3 years, in 5 years? Do you know exactly what it looks like? How many employees will you have? How much revenue will you have? What's your margins? Where will you be located? What products or services will you be providing? What does your role in the company look like? Do you have a picture of it? If you don't, then the Cheshire Cat's advice to Alice is for you. If you don't know where you're going, then it doesn't matter which path you take. It doesn't matter which path you take if you don't know where you're going. So you have to have a clear destination in mind of where you want your business to be so you know which points of your business you need to measure. It's that simple. You say, well, Justin, I don't have a clue, man. I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I heard somebody the other day tell me that. They're a business owner that we're consulting. I said, I get it. That's why we're working through this planning process. It's a newer business owner and that we begin working with, and we walk them through the financial planning first on a personal level so they understand how any actions we take in the person of the business will directly impact them financially as the business owner. And we're also working through the business planning process. So we need to know where we want to be. So once you know where you want to be, now's the time for you to assess your current situation. It's time for you to assess your current situation. And this is where those 8 key areas come into play. You know, Alice woke up and she told the king, she said, I am not where I was yesterday. She knew that something changed. She knew something changed. Let's assess our situation. So let's look at the 8 key areas of business. What in your business needs the most attention? Have you ever done any planning? Do you have a written business plan? Do you have a strategic plan in place? No? Well, consider it. How's the leadership? Do you have, we were talking with a business owner just today that their number one requirement for us when they engaged us almost 2 years ago now was we do not want to be involved in the day-to-day operations. Now, we went through COVID. The business owner moved a business manager in place. And today we actually had the conversation. Look, listen to yourselves. You're not even looking at the day-to-day operations because you trust your team now. Now let's start looking at what's going to happen in 6 months, 8 months, 12 months from now. And here we are. It's taken 2 years. COVID kind of threw us a loop, and we ended up having to replace the entire organizational structure with a team in order to get them where they needed to be. So let's assess our current situation. Do you have a plan? Is leadership an issue within your company? Do you have a marketing plan? Do you have a sales process in place? How are your people? Are they aligned with where you're going? Are the operational structures of your company efficient? Financially, do you know if you're making profit or not? And are there any risks? If you could do an assessment of these areas, then it can help you figure out which one needs the most attention. Now, here's a shameless plug. My book, as I mentioned earlier in the pre-notes, my book, Your Baby's Ugly, is coming out very soon. And I deal with these questions in detail in each of the chapters of the book, almost as a help guide for us as business owners. You say, Justin, I need more help than that. Hey, reach out to us. This is what we do. We teach business owners exactly where to focus their attention on through a process, not just by sticking our finger in the wind, in the air, trying to figure out which way the wind's blowing. We actually have a process. We walk through 256 questions sometimes to determine what do we need to attack first. So we need to assess our current situation. And then fourth, we need to devise an action plan. Devise an action plan to implement the indicators that we need in our weak areas. We need an action plan. We need to figure out, do we need key performance, KRIs, key results indicators? We need to figure out what we're going to do to strengthen that area. It sounded as an excellent plan, no doubt, and very simply and neatly arranged. The only difficulty was that she had not the smallest idea on how to set it about. And that's from the text of Alice in Wonderland. She thought she had a plan, but she had no idea how to do it. So we've got to devise a plan, and maybe that's you. As you look at those 8 key areas and you're saying, man, Justin, my marketing is really weak. I don't know how to do marketing. Well, we need to devise an action plan. This is where a consultant can help you. Look, friends, I pay consultants lots of money to help me in my companies. You say, well, Justin, you're a consultant. You should know how to do it for yourself. Friends, I'm a business owner just like you, and I get trapped in the day-to-day operations. I need a coach just like you do to help me. I told that to a business owner. They said, yeah, but that shouldn't be the case. And I said, buddy, have you turned on the TV during any type of sporting events? I mean, these are the world's best players that play for major league teams, yet they have a coach. I was thinking about Michael Phelps. I mentioned him on the podcast often, is because I think what he did was phenomenal. He won a ton of gold medals, and I think he's still the most decorated Olympian of all time. Yet he had several coaches. So you say, Justin, I don't know how to devise an action plan. You say, like Alice said, it sounded as an excellent plan, no doubt. It's very simple and very neatly arranged. The only difficulty was, I don't know how to do it. So this is where somebody can come alongside and show you. Again, if you need help with that, reach out to us. So once you devise the action plan, now you're going to explain the changes to your team and why it matters. You've got to have your team on board with tracking what you're going to be tracking. But they need to know why it matters. They need to know why it matters. The Duchess of Alice in Wonderland said, if everybody minded their own business, then when the horse growls, she said, the world would go round a deal faster than it does. Here's the problem, though. In business, we got to have the team minding our business. It's our business. And your team members are there to help you accomplish your vision and your mission as the business owner. Now, does that mean that you discount or discredit anything that they say? No. If you've got rock star team members like I do, I'm telling you, every week I learn something, and my vision gets clearer as they input truth and they input ideas into my life. But they have to understand where we're going and why it matters to them. Friends, why do we go to work? We go to work to earn a wage. We go to work to make impact. We go to work to be challenged. We go to work for a number of different reasons. And your teams need to understand how these indicators can help them accomplish their individual goals. And by them accomplishing their individual goals, it's going to impact the business, which is then going to turn and help them accomplish their individual goals even more. So you've got to explain to your team why it matters. And then instantly, you're going to start tracking, modifying, and adjust. So once you know what you need to do, then it's time to start. The Cheshire Cat said, every adventure requires a first step. Every adventure. And let me tell you, it's got to be an adventure. You say, Justin, is it easy? No, it's not. This is difficult. Tracking things and creating indicators that you've never dealt with before is difficult, but it requires a first step. Take one step and you get knocked down. You get up and do it again. Hey, come on. We're business owners. We're the ones who charge hell with a water pistol. That's us. So let's follow the advice of the cat in Alice in Wonderland. Take a first step. Start tracking, modify, and adjust. And then you may say, like Alice said, that's impossible. That's impossible. I cannot do this. I am going crazy. I don't have enough time in the day. I don't have a team who can handle it. I don't have the technology. I don't have the systems. I don't have the money. Whatever your excuse is, to prevent you from starting indicators and tracking them and growing and reaching the goals that you have and that vision that you have, can only be answered as the Mad Hatter answered Alice. She said, that is impossible. The Mad Hatter said, only if you believe it is. Only if you believe it is. So friends, I say on a regular basis, you can check it out on social media. If you're not a friend of mine on social media, check it out. Go to Justin Goodbread or Financially Simple, connect with us. But I often say, if you think you can or think you can't, you're right. In Scripture, it says, as a man thinks in his heart, and that's a definitive pronoun there. It means a man or a woman, is thinks in their heart, so is he. That is what they believe will happen. The Mad Hatter said, after Alice said, it's impossible, he said, only if you believe it is. So friends, I'm challenging you to let's improve. In order to improve, we have to measure. If we don't have a plan, it's just wishful thinking. We want to change it so we don't get what we always got. And friends, candidly, you can't go back to yesterday. You can't go back to before you heard this knowledge, because now you're a different person. And I hope you take what our team has poured into this podcast over the last 10 episodes. I hope you take that and you implement it in your business. You got to be a different person. You got to make change. You got to take that first step. And if you do, friends, it's only up. You say, Justin, will it hurt my business? No, because as you begin measuring, you're going to begin improving. If you say, man, Justin, I don't know how to do this. I don't have time. I'm going crazy as it is right now. Yeah, I know. I hear that all the time. I do. Hire a coach. If you don't know a good one, reach out to us. We can help you from a personal financial planning coach, which you need. That's where we start everybody off with, all the way to the business coach. And you can reach your goals. And it's going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard sometimes, many times. Some days you're going to want to quit. Some days you're going to want to roll up in the corner in the fetal position and suck your thumb. Yes, yours truly has been there in business. But is it worth it? Are your goals worth it? Is your vision, your dream, your aspirations in life, are they worth it? I think most of us would say yes. Yes, it is. So friends, it's been fun sharing indicators with you these past few weeks. It's been fun with this journey as I've been preparing for these episodes, even discovering more weaknesses in my company so we can strengthen even more. And until next time, look, I realize life is hard. I get it. It is hard. But life is good. We are such a blessed people. Man, we are so blessed. The very fact that we can talk about improvement is amazing to me. And it can be frustrating. It can. But it doesn't have to be. Let's continue to make our lives at least financially simple. We'll catch you next week.